The room begins to move more slowly, not because it has to stop, but because it's learned the value of not filling every spot. The light rests longer on each thing, as if it's taking note. Nothing's rushing past this hour, nothing's asking to be told. No hurry in the air, no reason to prepare. Everything slows at once, not falling, not behind. The day releases its tight grip and loosens up the time. I don't resist the softer pace, I don't try to adjust. Everything slows at once, and that feels right, it feels just. A task ends quietly midway, another waits its turn. I don't feel the need to finish everything I've learned outside. The city finds a rhythm that doesn't need my ear. It carries on without insisting that I be fully here. No signal to obey, the moment stays this way. Everything slows at once, the pressure slips away. I'm still inside the motion, but I'm not pushed to stay. I let the afternoon approach without a sudden thrust. Everything slows at once, and I move with it, I trust. There was a time I feared this slowing meant to lose, but now I see the space it makes for choosing what to choose. Not everything that matters arrives in perfect speed. Some things only come into focus when nothing's trying to lead. Everything slows at once, the calm expands its reach. I don't name this as an ending, I don't call it a breach. A day continues somewhere else, but here it stays robust. Everything slows at once, and I remain adjusted. The room holds still for just a breath and carries on its way. Everything slows at once and gently turns the day.
The day doesn't try too hard, neither do I. Sunlight lands where it should, no reason why. Your voice sounds steady now, like it trusts the air. I like how nothing feels dramatic when hope is there. I don't check what might go wrong, I let the moment carry on. I think this will be okay, not perfect, just enough. Every worry loosens slowly, every edge gets soft. I think this will be okay, and I don't need to know how. If peace feels like this right now, I trust it now. Easy-ish, less to get. Cafes hum like they remember, and stays. I don't promise anything, I let the feeling sing. I think this will be okay, not perfect, just enough. Every worry loosens slowly, every edge gets soft. I think this will be okay, and I don't need to know how, if peace feels like this right now. I trust it now. Maybe certainty is gentle, not a solid line, just a sense of standing still and feeling fine. I don't need the end in sight, I don't need a plan. If I can breathe like this today, I can. Soft, open ground. I think this will be okay, and I finally believe, not because I saw the road, but because I'm here. I think this will be okay, and then that's enough for me. Some seasons end with confidence, not clarity. Evening leans, the sky stays wide, nothing pulling me aside. I don't say it out loud, but I smile. I think this will be okay. The alarm rings, I let it breathe. Sunlight waits, so do I. No rush to be ahead of time, I start the day a little slower. I open windows before my phone, let the air say what it wants. Coffee drips, the kettle sings, nothing feels behind. I choose the long way to the train, notice streets I used to miss. Every face looks mid-story, and I let it be. I don't measure how I'm doing by the noise outside. If calm is something you practice, I'm learning how. I start the day a little slower, not because I'm late, but because I finally know what can wait. I start the day a little slower, and somehow I get there on time. If peace has a rhythm now, it sounds like mine. Emails line up, lights turn on, same work, different feel. I answer what I can today, leave the rest until it's real. Lunch alone doesn't feel empty, it feels earned, it feels kind. I stopped filling every space just to prove I'm fine. I don't call this giving up, I don't call it small. I call it listening closely before I respond. I start the day a little slower, let the hours choose their shape. If I'm present when it matters, I can let go of the race. I start the day a little slower, and nothing falls apart. Turns out moving with intention gets you just as far. Maybe living isn't winning or outrunning what's ahead. Maybe it's deciding how you hold the day instead. I don't sprint, I don't stall, I meet the morning where it falls. If tomorrow looks demanding, I'll answer when I can. Not everything needs urgency to matter in the end. I start the day a little slower, and it gives me room to notice when I'm smiling in the middle of the noon. I start the day a little slower, if that's the change I made, it's enough. a gentler pace. No big win, no overdue. I start the day and live it too. Early trains and pale blue light, city yawns, it's almost bright. Nothing ends, nothing starts, just quiet hope between the parts. Shoes by the door, keys in my hand, plans I never really planned. Every step feels slightly new, like I'm learning how to choose. Oh, the fears knock, I don't reply. Let them wait, I'll pass them by. I'm not brave, but I'm aware there's more room in open air. I don't need to see it clear, I just need to stand right here, between the doubt and the try, where the future passes by. Before we call it tomorrow, let's stay inside this breath, not asking for forever, not afraid of what's next. Before we call it tomorrow, I feel my heartbeat say, I'm not late, I'm not early, I'm exactly on my way. Faces blur on passing streets, everyone's becoming me. Different stories, same direction, quiet faith, small corrections. I don't chase a perfect sign, I don't wait for stars to align. If it feels a little real, that's enough for me to feel. I don't promise, I don't swear, I just show up standing there. Let the moment teach me how to be here, to be now. Before we call it tomorrow, I let go of yesterday, not because it didn't matter, but it already had its say. Before we call it tomorrow, there's a warmth I recognize. It's the sound of moving forward without needing to arrive. Maybe hope is something small, like answering when the future calls. Not running fast, not staying still, just trusting what I feel. I don't know, but I go. That's enough, that's the glow. If I stumble, let me learn. If I pause, let it burn. Not every light is meant to stay, some just show the way. Before we call it tomorrow, I'm already changing shape. Every step writes a sentence, I don't need to escape. Before we call it tomorrow, if I smile, let it be. Not for what I'm hoping for, but for who I get to be. Morning opens, no applause, just a door without a cause. I step through, calm and slow, before tomorrow starts to show. The room no longer feels like a room, more like a held space. The light is barely there at all, but hasn't left its trace. My breathing finds its own soft loop, no start, no end in sight. I don't remember choosing this, it just arrived as night. No edge to step across, no sense of gain or loss. I'm between staying and sleeping, not drifting, not away. I don't decide which way I go, I don't need to take. The moment holds me gently without a sound. dissolves before it forms. A feeling hums then fades. Nothing completes a sentence now. Nothing needs to be saved. The world outside is far enough to stop demanding me. The world inside is quiet too, and doesn't need to be. No witness left to keep, no promise made to sleep. I'm between staying and sleeping. The calm doesn't decide. I don't fall, I don't remain. I don't have to choose a side. I let the night hold both states without a line to draw. I'm between staying and sleeping, and nothing's wrong. There were nights I fought this space, afraid to let it be. But now I trust the in-between to carry me. Some rest lives not in sleep itself, but where control is thin. A place where nothing needs to end for us to begin. I'm between staying and sleeping. The room feels far and near. I don't track the passing seconds. I don't stay clear. I let the moment keep its shape. I don't define. I'm between staying and sleeping, and I'm fine. The light is gone, the dark is soft. No signal, no command. Between staying and sleeping, I quietly land.
Alarm ring, same old sound. No spark waiting to be found. Nothing pulling me ahead. Still I get up. Yesterday didn't stay special. Today doesn't try to shine. The work looks almost identical, line after line. I don't feel inspired, I don't feel behind. I just sit where I sat before and give it time. I used to think momentum had to feel like fire. Turns out it feels more like a chair and a wire. I showed up again, not better than yesterday, just willing to begin in the same quiet way. I showed up again, no proof, no sign. If progress is repetition, then this counts as mine. I fixed one thing I broke last time, break another, learn the edge. Nothing clicks dramatically, but something's getting steadier. The clock doesn't cheer me on, it just keeps its pace. I stop asking if I'm late and meet it where it waits. I don't promise miracles, I don't chase a win. I just keep the door unlocked and walk back in. I showed up again, even when it felt the same. Even when the voice inside had nothing new to say. I showed up again, and that feels like trust. Not in the outcome, but in showing up. Maybe discipline is quiet, maybe it's not fear or drive. Maybe it's forgiving the days that don't feel If nothing changes today, that's not defeat. Some days exist just to keep the beat. I showed up again, and that's enough for now. Every time I do this, I'm building how I showed up again. Not proud, not ashamed, just here, just present, just staying. Lights fade, the screen goes dim, nothing finished, nothing ends. Same door, same place, same pen. I showed up again. Mirror light and honest face. No need to rush, no need to praise. Nothing waiting to approve. Trust the way I move. I used to check the room for signs, read the air before I spoke. Now I say what fits my breath and let the rest stay unprothoed. I don't ask the noise for meaning, I don't shrink to match the pace. I've learned the shape of my own steps and how they take their space. I don't feel louder than before, I don't feel immune. I just stopped asking permission to be in the room. I trust the way I move, not perfect but aligned. If my rhythm looks different, it's because it's mine. I trust the way I move, no finish line in view. If I'm steady when I choose, that's the proof. They don't stick the way they did. Turns out clarity is weight, and I can't lift it. I don't chase a faster version of a life. I don't wanna choose depth over display, and it carries me on. I don't call this confidence, it's quieter than that. It's knowing when to say no, and I look back. I trust the way I move. Of a truth you've tested well. Not a promise you announce, but a pattern you can tell. I don't rush, I don't prove. I arrive the way I move. If tomorrow asks for more than I can give today, I'll answer honestly and keep my pace. I trust the way I move, and that steadies me, not because I won the race, but because I ran honestly. I trust the way I move, no banner, no excuse. If this feels like standing tall, it's because it's true. Evening settles, breath stays smooth. Same old road, a clearer view. No grand claim, no debut. I trust the way I move. The street begins to narrow slightly, like it's learning where I'm going. Signs appear with quiet certainty, not shouting, just knowing. I feel the day introduced intention, gently without force. A direction forming ahead of me, not a command, just a course. People move with clearer purpose now. Back schedules, names. I step among them carefully, not playing the same game. I don't tense when the goal appears.
edges. I don't brace or harden. I let direction find its place without becoming burden. I walk towards something, not away, not escaping who I've been. I carry what I woke up with into where I'm going in. I don't lose myself to progress. I don't run. I walk towards something, not away, and I become one. Traffic lights begin to speak in familiar patterns. The city sharpens its outline, but not its questions. I feel my thoughts align with motion, less scattered, more clear. They walk beside me now, not ahead, not rear. The day feels ready to receive me, but not to take control. I enter with my pace intact, still steady, still whole. Not every goal is pressure, not every path a test. Some directions ask us only to bring our best rest. I walk towards something, not away, before the rush takes hold, before the morning turns into something bought or sold. I don't trade calm for ambition, I don't assume. I walk towards something, not away, and I move through. I remember how I once believed that purpose meant distance, that to move toward a goal required a resistance. Now I see how intention can live beside care, how moving forward doesn't mean leaving myself somewhere. Remaining aware inside direction doesn't slow my pace. It keeps my steps connected to breath, to ground, to place. If later the hours feel tight or success feels loud, I'll remember how the day first let me choose the crowd. No sign forced this direction, no clock told me when. I simply walk towards something without leaving myself again. I walk towards something, not away, not the future, not the past. I move inside the present at a speed that lasts. I don't abandon the quiet, I don't assume. I walk towards something, not away, and I become one. Soon the day will call this progress. Soon it will give it a name, but I will know how it began, with direction, not escape.
The day appears the way it was, not bright or not severe. I see it without leaning in, without pulling it near. The hours line up quietly, no need to rearrange. They don't defend themselves at all, they don't ask me to change. No verdict left to make, no record I must take. I'm looking back without judging. Nothing's heavy in my hands, I don't weigh what could have been. I don't ask where I stand, I let the moments be themselves. I let them come and go. I'm looking back without judging, and that's all I need to know. A moment shines, another dims. Neither asked to stay, they sit together in my mind without getting in the way. The work, the pauses, all the in-betweens, they share the same soft tone, like pieces of a longer day that never stood alone. No need to sort or prove, the past can simply move. I'm looking back without judging. I don't sharpen what I see, I don't soften it with hope. I let it simply be, no lessons written in the air, no lines I have to toe. I'm looking back without judging and letting forward go. There were nights I tried to name what the day had meant, but now I see how meaning forms when nothing is intent. Some clarity arrives, it does, not as truth, but as relief. A sense that nothing here requires belief. I'm looking back without judging. The light is low but clear. I don't hold on to what was done, I don't push it near. The day rests where it belongs, no praise, no undertow. I'm looking back without judging, and I'm ready to let it go. The room grows still, the light grows thin, the day no longer nudges. I close my eyes to what has been, looking back without judging.
The room has found its balance now. No sudden sounds, no open tabs. The air feels even on my skin, like time has finally unclenched its hands. The clock is still there on the wall, but it's not leading anything. It ticks like background weather does, present but not demanding. Nothing's calling out my name, nothing's asking me to change. Nothing needs my attention, not this minute, not this sound. I'm moving inside something steady where no sharp edges can be found. I don't check what's coming next, I don't measure what I've done. Nothing needs my attention, and that's when the work gets done. The keys respond without delay, the pen moves like it trusts the line. I'm not thinking of the end, I'm only following the time. Outside the world keeps being loud, but here it's filtered soft and thin, like noise that learned some manners before it dared to enter in. No reminders pulling through, nothing else I have to do. Nothing needs my attention, nothing's pulling me away. The focus holds without effort, like it knows how long to stay. I don't push, I don't pretend, I don't rush to feel ahead. Nothing needs my attention, and the calm does what it said. I used to think that progress had to feel a little sharp, like pressure was the only way to leave a visible mark. But now I see the quiet work, the kind that doesn't shout. It grows while I'm not watching, it forms while I don't doubt. Nothing needs my attention, so I give it all right here. Not scattered, not divided, not rushed by distant fear. The day is open wide and still, the work fits perfectly inside. Nothing needs my attention, and that's the moment things align. The screen stays lit, the room stays calm, the hours stop feeling like a test. Nothing needs my attention, and I quietly do my best. The sun shifts slightly on the wall, not asking me to follow. The day keeps moving on its own, and I allow it. My phone lights up, I check it once, then place it face down slow. There's time enough for everything, I finally know. The noise returns in softer waves, not sharp, not loud. It feels like life remembered how to share the ground. I don't brace for what comes next, or replay what's already past. This moment holds me gently still, and that's enough. Nothing urgent, everything alive. The day doesn't need my drive, no countdown clock, no warning sign, just breath moving in real time. Nothing urgent, everything clear. I feel the hours settling here. If peace can hum instead of shout, this is it. I pass a park I don't walk into, still feel the green. Children's laughter bends the air, then slips between. I used to think I had to join every sound I heard. Now I know that being near is often enough. There's no guilt in moving slow, no fear in letting go. This ease doesn't disappear, it grows. Nothing urgent, everything alive. I don't outrun, I don't hide, no perfect plan, no need to try, just trust in how the day arrives. Nothing urgent, everything fine. The light knows when to realign. If calm can feel this full and where I'll stay. I don't mark this hour down or frame it as a change. If balance can feel ordinary, let it stay that way. Not reaching up, not settling low, just standing where I am. This moment doesn't ask for more, and I can. Shadows soften under trees, benches warm and still. I think about the rest of today, it doesn't lean uphill. Whatever waits can wait its turn, I don't know it now. This calm is not a pause in life, it's how. No echo chasing what I've done, no pressure pulling me. The day and I are finally in sync. Nothing urgent, everything alive. I walk the hours side by side, no rush to change, no need to climb, just grounded in this time. Nothing urgent, everything true. I don't need the proof. If living can feel this open wide, I'm inside. The sun keeps moving, so do I, at a pace that feels like mine. nothing urgent, everything alive. I wore a heavier coat that day. The sky felt undecided. Trees stood still like they were done. I almost believed it. Your voice came through the afternoon, soft. Unexpectedly I realized the season hadn't left, it was waiting. I don't trust first impressions now. I let the air come around. It was the day I thought spring was over, but it wasn't done with me. Warmth returned in smaller ways I almost didn't see. It was the day I thought spring was over, and I smiled at the light. Some seasons don't announce themselves, they just try again. Not yet. Still here. Clouds broke open just enough for light to change its mind. Cafes pulled their chairs back out like nothing crossed the line. Your message said it's still outside, and that felt like a sign. Not loud enough to follow, just kind. I don't rush what almost ends. I let it bend. It was the day I thought spring was over, but it wasn't done with me. Warmth returned in smaller ways I almost didn't see. It was the day I thought spring was over, and I smiled at the light. Some seasons don't announce themselves, they just try it again. Maybe hope is repetition, quietly persistent. Not a bloom, not a promise, just being insistent. I don't need it guaranteed, I don't need it loud. If spring comes back like this, I'll allow. Light returns, soft surprise. It was the day I thought spring was over, and I learned instead that warmth can leave the room a while, then find its way back in. It was the day I thought spring was over, and now I understand. Some feelings stay unfinished on purpose. Coat comes off, the air feels true. Nothing forced, nothing new. I don't guess how long it stays. Spring returned in its own way. In its own way. The sky forgets to cool us down, but doesn't press too close. Curtains lift and settle back like they already know. Street sounds travel into us, not loud, just near. I like how nothing needs protecting when the air is here. I don't ask the night to change, I let it stay. We didn't close the windows, and nothing felt wrong. Every sound found its place, every breath belonged. We didn't close the windows, and I stayed awake. I don't reach to pull it in, I let it drift. We didn't close the windows, and nothing felt wrong. Every sound found its place, every breath belonged. We didn't close the windows, and I stayed awake. If comfort lies in simple things, I'll take this shape. Maybe ease is openness without defense, letting night and thought and air coexist. I don't need the door shut tight, I don't need control. If the evening feels this safe, I'm whole. Soft glow, open we don't check where we're heading, our feet already know. The street feels familiar somehow as we go. You walk just half a step from me, not leading, not behind, and that unspoken distance feels aligned. I don't count the moments in between, or wonder how they pass. This rhythm carries both of us at last. We move without thinking now, no need to talk it out. Our steps fall into place on their own. We move without thinking, calm and sure. Nothing here feels unsure. If this is how the hours flow, I go. Your hand swings close to mine but doesn't ask. We don't turn this into something to grasp. I used to think that closeness meant a moment I should name. Now it feels like knowing how to remain. No pause to see if you're still here. I feel it when you are. This siege feels like the truest form of start. We move without thinking today, nothing in the way. We don't guide the feeling, shape it stays. We move without thinking, side by side, letting instinct guide. If this is how the night arrives, I like. I don't call this habit forming or fading into gray. If comfort can feel this alive, it stays. The wind doesn't plan its direction, it goes. So do we. Slow, we move without thinking, here and now. I don't need to ask how, no need to mark the ground we're on, we're on. We move without thinking, open view. Everything feels true. If this is how our time becomes, it comes. No signal telling us to stop, no map we have to draw. We move without thinking, and that's trust. Wind pressed hard against the glass like it wanted in. Snow piled up without a pause, then tried again. You told a story halfway through and lost your place. Your laugh filled up the room and changed the pace. I didn't hear the thunder then, I heard you. Your laugh sounded louder than the storm outside. Every worry lost its volume when you smiled. Your laugh sounded louder than the storm, and I knew if winter had a softer side, it was you. Then stayed like they agreed. The radio gave up the song, letting us leave. You leaned forward, laughing still, hands in your sleeves. I like how nothing feels threatening when you're at ease. I didn't check the weather anymore, it didn't matter. If winter had a softer side, yeah, it was you, yeah. Maybe love is contrast done right, finding warmth when the world gets loud at night. I don't need the calm to last, I don't need it long. If your laugh cuts through the cold, I'm strong. Low thunder, bright laugh. Your laugh sounded louder than the storm, and I could tell some warmth doesn't silence the world, it excels. Your laugh sounded louder than the storm, and winter stayed outside the room while fear gave way. Snow kept falling wild and free, nothing close enough to reach us here. I don't ask what tomorrow brings, your laugh was louder than anything. Morning opens without a sound. Light slips in, the walls calm down. Nothing rushing, nothing late, just the day learning its own shape. Coffee cooling by the window, footsteps past the street below. Every face is on its way, carrying a quiet hope today. I don't need a perfect sign, no big plan, no finish line. If I breathe and let it stay, this moment's already okay. I've been learning how to see what's been waiting patiently. Not louder dreams, not higher ground, just a softer kind of now. I feel a little brighter than yesterday, not because the world has changed, but I let the light come my way. I'm a little lighter than I used to be, letting go of what I can't keep, just enough to feel Maybe joy is something small, like laughing when the night feels long. Maybe hope is simply found in staying when you could run out. No fireworks, no grand display, just showing up in quiet ways. If this is all today can be, then today is enough for me. I feel a little brighter than yesterday. Let the sunlight rearrange all the corners I forgot to name. I'm a little closer to feeling whole, not because I reached my goal, but I stopped trying to control. Morning leaves its gentle mark, evening waits without a dark. If I'm still here, if I can stay, I'll be brighter again tomorrow.